Hi Cancer, and welcome to your reading for April 2019. My name is Melanie. Sometimes I forget to say my name, so I'm saying it now. This is a general reading for Cancer, Sun, Moon and Rising signs, so it may or may not resonate, and that is totally okay. I'm just going to dive right into the reading using some different cards this month. So I do a 5-card spread for the month, and the first card there representing past energy that may be relevant this month, the 9 of Wands card came through for Cancers. The second card representing current issues, current situation this month in April, the 4 of Pentacles card for you guys. The third card there being about possible obstacles that may present themselves this month. You guys have the Princess of Cups, beautiful card. Just visually, I just love that card. In the fourth position there, representing possible helpful tools this month, you have the 9 of Swords card. And finally, the outcome card for the month is the Ace of Cups card for Cancers. And the card sort of lying down there representing the overall theme for the month, hopefully sort of tying things together in some way, shape or form, is called Moth, and that represents the shadow self. And I'll be reading about that card at the end of the reading. So let's just dive right in. For April 2019. So past energy, you guys have the 9 of Wands card. So are you guys a bit battle weary? Have you gone through some sort of energy sucking dilemma, disagreement, conflict, upheaval, something that just, boy, did it take a lot out of you, and you are now you've gone through something. You're still a little bit battered and bruised, a bit jaded, but in a position of coming out the other side, just kind of resting and kind of going, all right, I've made it through those hideous bumpy times. I'm recovering, I'm healing, I'm still a little bit on edge, but I'm resilient and I'm persisting and being nearly at the end of something. So kind of gathering your energy to finish whatever it is that caused you a lot of stress, I would say, and took a lot of your time and energy in some sort of battle of some sort. Hopefully not an actual physical battle, but something that certainly felt like that in your life. And you could have been having to juggle or manage many different choices or opinions, different perspectives, and now you've sort of gained some mastery over something. You've kind of settled on your own place with something, and you're regrouping, and you're like, I know what I want, kind of thing. Boy, was that tough to fight my way through that. But here I am, just pausing, recovering for a little bit, surveying the lay of the land. This is also a card of having good self-respect in that regards of, I think, acting ethically in amongst perhaps some diabolical behaviour around you. So that's in the past position. Let's see if it makes sense as we go through the cards, because moving into the current month of April, current sort of issues, current situation, you have the 4 of Pentacles card. So this is a card, sometimes it's called the miserly card, but it's a card about having acquired some stuff, right? So Pentacles are about practical, tangible things, earth energy. So we're talking money, finances, career, solid, tangible things, buildings, jobs, profit, businesses. Particularly when I think of Pentacles, I do think of money and finances and work and things to do with the real hands-on things in our lives, including the senses, the things that we consume and use every day. Our sight, our hearing, our taste, our touch, I've forgotten the last one, but the very physical hands-on things, smell. But that's the Pentacles, right? So the 4 of Pentacles, this is a card about you have got some stuff. Maybe you're actually in a good position financially, and you've got some good security, you've got some possessions, but you're really wanting to hold on to that. In fact, you are, I think, a bit worried or a bit anxious of losing something. So you're really gripping on and holding tightly, hence that kind of miserly energy of what you have. You're wanting to have control over that. You're wanting to protect your finances, protect your security, protect what you've worked hard for, and you're quite, there's a element of fear of loss. So you're kind of gripping onto things very tightly, potentially hoarding things, and you're wanting to protect what it is that you've earned, which kind of makes sense to me in light of the Nine of Wands card in the past there. It's like you've had to go through a real struggle to get where you are or to accumulate what you have, and now you are holding on to that very tightly. You're like, piss off everyone, I worked really hard for this, no you can't have it, no you can't have it, but actually perhaps being a little overprotective about something and not wanting to share the wealth or share the things that you have acquired materially and your success, because this is a card about success really, but kind of struggling and loosening up around that. And I think because you've gone through some pretty difficult stuff there, so that's quite a strong energy showing up this month. That Four of Pentacles, maybe something to reflect upon, because you know when we're tight around something, when we grip onto something too hard out of fear, we squeeze the life out of things, and we create boundaries and walls around us when there isn't need to be any. It makes sense if things have been very difficult that you then kind of move into this defensive protective position, and maybe you need to just work through that to process that, so you can kind of just breathe again and trust and really enjoy what you've worked really hard for without being very worried about it, about losing it. The third card there being possible obstacles that may present themselves this month. The Princess of Cups card, otherwise known as the Page of Cups. Cups are water, water signs, water energy, love, feelings, emotions, relationships, friendships. The Princess of Cups, or the Page of Cups, is a very young energy, really youthful, innocent kind of energy. Pages typically are, or princesses are messages, bringing in some sort of new communication about something. This card can be about needing to get in touch with or being in touch with your inner child. Very playful, fun energy, very youthful, lots of imagination kind of in this card, very affectionate. Because it is a youthful card, so it's sort of about still developing an area of your life. There's not having a lot of experience in a particular area, and still being just very youthful and innocent, wide-eyed and excited about something. This card can be about focusing on something new that you're learning, just like a young person would, a student would be wanting to learn, and being very naive perhaps about things. But potentially there could be, say, messages from, like I said, messages from the universe about something new, and something new in the emotional realm. I'm wondering though, given that this card is in the position of obstacle this month, or obstacles, are you letting your inner child run the show a bit much? Is there a little bit too much, I hate to say it, playfulness and imagination? I can't believe there'd be too much of that, but if you're an adult, we need to balance those things up, which is interesting given you've got the Four of Pentacles card, and that's someone to me who is almost over adulting, being so tightly controlled and rigid around something out of fear that they're kind of letting, I'm going to say kangaroo loose in the back paddock. So what that means is, we say that as a term to mean someone's a little bit crazy, but they're letting something loose in the back of their. There's a part of them that's running the show when I'm talking now. There's a part of you perhaps that's running the show when it really shouldn't be. So there's things aren't quite balanced in because you've perhaps come out of a bit of a battle. Like I said, with that Nine of Wands card. So maybe there's a little bit too much frivolous energy in some ways, which is interesting because I would say that you would probably need a little bit of this energy on the back of that Four of Pentacles, but there's this kind of mix-up going on almost, and a need to find more balance and find that wise, healthy, balanced adult to make your way through whatever you've gone through in the past. And another interesting point, like if we move on to the fourth card there, being about possible helpful tools this month, you guys have the Nine of Swords card, which, usually is quite a negative card of overthinking, overanalyzing, sleepless nights, nightmares, intense anxiety, worries, problems waking you up in the middle of the night, fears really getting ahead of you, intense restlessness, regrets of the past, worries of the future. It's a card of sort of self-torment, being really tormented in your head and waking up with nightmares in the middle of the night because you're so stressed and worried about something. In the position of what may be useful and helpful this month. So perhaps there is something that you need to analyze carefully, I think, and logically. And something may well have thrown you off a balance, and there's sort of a loss in some regard, which would make sense with that Nine of Wands card there. And you're out of balance, and you need to get back into balance and to get back into focus to move through whatever it is that you've had to come through. Grieve a loss if there's a loss there, or grieve a process that you had to go through that you think, that was bullshit and there was no need for me to go through that. But you have, and you need to, like I said, you need to process it. So I'm always wanting to say maybe you need to go to therapy or see a counselor or see a life coach or see, someone who does some healing work, and work through some of the stuff that has caused you great stress and great distress. And now you're on the one hand you're holding on to things too tight, and then on the other hand you're like, woo, really flippant and childlike with some things, and you're not quite thinking things through yet. There's still a bit of mess in your head almost, and you perhaps need to take some time now and come to terms with the journey you've been on almost. Because if you do, the outcome for this month potentially is very, very beautiful. You have the Ace of Cups card. Aces being new things. The Ace of Cups is overflowing. This card is overflowing with water, with an abundance of beautiful feelings of love. Your spirit being full to overflowing. Something new, beautiful, brand new coming in, a gift from the universe, and you kind of being overwhelmed with joy, tears of joy, really positive emotions, emotional growth, abundance, an abundance of new love, new joy, new beginnings, creative new beginnings. In that sense, it can sometimes represent fertility and abundance and pregnancy and birth, but being full of that joyful spirit, I would say. There is potentially something new, a gift or a blessing coming in for you guys, and some healing, and I think this reading is saying you guys need to do some healing work on yourselves because you've gone through a lot. You still haven't found your feet yet, almost. Or you think you have, but you haven't. I think you need to go and do some work on that. And once you do that, you will be gifted a whole new beginning, a whole new stage of your life, a whole new feeling in your heart and your soul. And I think then you'll really be able to settle into what you have achieved, but in a much healthier, calmer way, without letting the child run the show or the Scrooge run the show. You know, you'll be able to really feel joy around what you have achieved, without being resentful about what you've gone through, I want to say. Real journey, I think, this month potentially. I can see you've done a lot. You've achieved something pretty significant, and I understand why you might be anxious about losing that again or having to go through it all again. All you need to do is trust, I think, and work through things very calmly. Looks like you have the means to do that. Get back in touch with what you may have lost through the process that you've gone through. And then you'll be able to loosen up around things, to let things come in, opening yourself up to these